You know, I'm noticing that we have many of our brothers and sisters in media and elsewhere who are jubilant. We're jubilant. I'm jubilant. But they're letting their guards down. Donald Trump has a whole bunch of cabinet nominees who have not been confirmed yet. Today they went after Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm not a Robert Kennedy Jr. ideological guy. But I decided to watch a lot of this hearing, and I was extremely impressed with the man. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I was very impressed, especially with the way he handled his fellow Democrats, particularly the more extremist among them. And you can see how these Democrats are stretching and pulling and pushing and attacking him for how he litigated, attacking him for how he ran a foundation, asking him how he made his money. This is what they do. He also made it clear that there had been some private discussions when he met with certain senators, issues resolved or dismissed as unimportant that they brought up during the hearing, and he said, you know what you're stating isn't true, and the fact that you're bringing it up now points it out. So they had these confidential meetings, or at least private meetings, and for the Democrats it doesn't matter. Anything goes. Now, I've told you before, my position on this is simple. Donald Trump should get the people he wants. This is a first round. We're talking about cabinet secretaries here. And we hope they all work out. But he won the election. These are the people he'd like to have helping him. The Democrats are already slow walking a number of these nominees. They'll let some through, like Rubio gets through 99-0, or they'll let this one through or that one through. I saw Lee Zeldin got through today at EPA. Even he had almost 40 votes against him. So this is just part and parcel of what's coming and what's happening. Now, what do I mean? Their judges are acting up. Whether it's the judge in Seattle, the judge in Washington, D.C., and I'll get to this pulling of the memo in a moment. It's really no big deal. Of course, the media is all excited. And then there's the media. You know, I go to these various media aggregation sites, including those by these so-called, used to be called mainstream media, which we now know has nothing to do with the mainstream. They always have a negative twist, a negative title. They always lead with something that's ominous about something that Donald Trump has done. His position on the illegal immigrants will drive up inflation and the cost of food. Always, if not looking for a dark cloud, creating a dark cloud in the reporting. The war against Donald Trump has not stopped. Whether it's the media, the Democrats on Capitol Hill, or the courts, the war has not stopped. Now, people say the Democrats aren't sure what they stand for anymore. They're bouncing around. I see it. It's just a matter of time until they unite, because that's what they do. One thing they unite around is their hate for you and me, their hate for Donald Trump, and quite frankly, their hate for this country. Their policies, virtually every damn one of their policies, is harmful to our society, our culture, our republic. I've said over and over again this week, as we watch the courageous men and women of federal law enforcement go after the most ruthless murderers, rapists, drug dealers in our country, imported into our country by Joe Biden. And I've said to myself, and I've said to my wife, and I've said to you, how is it that Donald Trump and his people know where to find these people, but Joe Biden didn't? The fact is Joe Biden did, and he affirmatively allowed murderers, rapists, child molesters, and so forth and so on to roam the country, to live in our neighborhoods and our communities. This was purposeful. When he said the border was secure for 2.5 years, he lied. When he said we needed bipartisan legislation to fix the border and to deal with the criminals in our country, he lied. Donald Trump's plowing ahead. He's plowing ahead with the wall. He's plowing ahead going after these murderers, these rapists, these pedophiles. He's plowing ahead. He's not waiting for bipartisan legislation because it was never needed. Our laws are good laws. Our immigration laws are good immigration laws. It's never been the fault of the laws. It's been the fault of the politicians. And that's the truth. And you watch the media the last 48 hours, the last 76 hours, or whatever, 72 hours. One after another after another. It looks like the Third Reich. What about human rights? And we haven't even gotten to people who haven't committed violent crimes yet. We're talking about the people who have. Oh, how dare you? How dare you catch other people who are here illegally while you're going after the criminals? I guess they don't understand the program. The program is, if people don't depopulate, if they don't self-remove themselves from this country, then they're going to be removed. There's no need to split up families. Parents can take their children. These parents did this in the first place. They knew exactly what they were doing. It's not Donald Trump's fault. It's not Holman's fault. It's not anybody's fault but the people who acted this way. A country cannot survive this. It just can't. But isn't that the point of the Democrat Party? They don't want us to survive it. They're not into political differences or even social differences. They're into societal differences. That is like the French Revolution. The French Revolution wasn't about representative government or the monarchy or anything else. It was about destroying the existing society. Edmund Burke wrote about it brilliantly. He had been a member of the British Parliament. He had an Irish background. One of the great, we believe, we conservatives, one of the great thinkers, one of the great scholars. He said the difference between the French Revolution and the American Revolution is night and day. The American Revolution, they're not out to destroy society. They're out to strengthen their society with representative government. And he supported the American Revolution, even though he was really a resident of Britain. He rejected the French Revolution, which he pointed out was, it's not a revolution about government. That's a revolution about destroying the French society. And it was bloody, and it went on for 10 years. The slaughter was unbelievable. The guillotines never stopped. And they replaced one tyranny with another tyranny. Not so in America. Not so in America. You have to accept the fact, and I say this knowing full well it'll be repeated, but I've been doing a lot of reading, thinking, writing, and I'm going to pull together all of this. You have to accept the fact that these people reject the Judeo-Christian principles on which this nation was founded. They reject the principles of natural law. They reject the principles of individual liberty and free will. They reject it all. Whether they're hardcore Marxists or Marxists by default, they sound like Marxists, they act like Marxists, and they promote ideas of the Marxists. That's what they are, and that's what they do. They even lie repeatedly. Donald Trump didn't put out any order affecting any entitlement program. None. And yet there's Chuck Schumer, hunched over like a stupid old man, going on and on about food stamps, on about Social Security, trying to scare the hell out of people. But it was utterly ineffective. What Donald Trump's trying to figure out is how do hundreds of billions of dollars go to these non-government radical left-wing organizations? How do hundreds of billions of dollars go into all this woke and DEI stuff? Hundreds of billions of dollars into contracts and grants. They're going to Planned Parenthood. They're going to this. That's your money. And he says, I want to put a freeze on it and take a look at this. Oh, my God, he's destroying Social Security. No, he's not. They haven't changed, and they're not going to change, because the Democrat Party isn't merely a political entity. It is an anti-American ideological operation. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's why it's a party that welcomes a Tlaib and an Omar. American haters, Jew haters, bigots, racists, they welcome them with open arms. That's why they welcome AOC. who is a bartender Marxist, a moron. But they promote her. They promote her in the media. She's a big deal, don't you know? That's why they're rooting against Trump. You can go right now. Just look at any of these sites, any of them. You can look at the worst of them, like Mediaite or the Drudge Report or entities like that. Or when you open Google, you can see those sites, MSN and the others. It's constantly negative toward anything Trump does, as they cherry pick the articles that are the worst of the worst. And while it's true the media are in a bit of an upheaval, if you look what's going on at the Washington Post and the LA Times, you look at CNN's having problems with its money and MSNBC, the fact of the matter is, if you really think about it, at their core, they have not changed. We're still hearing about Hitler and the Nazis, except when it comes to Hamas, Iran, Saudi Arabia. Then you don't hear about Hitler and the Nazis. Then you hear about the Jews and Netanyahu. But when it comes to Hitler and the Nazis, again, they point to Trump and you and me and all the rest of it. These people are destructive. They're evil. And they're desperately trying to manipulate the population in this country, the people. You look at their headlines, whether it's on the Drudge Report or Mediaite. You look at their headlines on many of these other sites. They're pathetic. They're sickening. You listen to these Democrats on Capitol Hill, they haven't changed a damn bit. You look at their tactics are the same. Smear, character assassinate. It is amazing to watch the Democrats on this committee. Every damn one of them who loved Ted Kennedy. Every damn one of them that didn't give a crap about Chappaquiddick and Mary Jo Kopechne. Every damn one of them that didn't give a damn about another Kennedy who was accused of rape in Palm Beach, and you can give whatever story you want. Caroline comes out. Is she aware of her father's history? God rest his soul for sure, but is she aware of the things he did? Is she aware of her grandfather's history? Back-channeling to the Third Reich, his sympathy towards Nazism, that he had to be yanked as ambassador of Britain? And his rabid anti-Semitism when he ran a studio in Hollywood? Is she not aware of that? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's the big problem? Seriously? You can disagree with him and disagree with him aggressively. But she sought to destroy her cousin, utterly destroy him, humiliate him. On the eve of his hearing, she's talking to her fellow Democrats. Go ahead and knock him off. Do you have more respect for Caroline Kennedy as a result, or do you find her contemptible and unconscionable? I find her contemptible and unconscionable. Now, Tulsi Gabbard will be next. I'm not a big Tulsi Gabbard fan on the substance, but if Donald Trump wants her, Donald Trump should get her. Kash Patel, I am a big fan. If Donald Trump wants him, he should get him. I don't like the dingbat over there at the Labor Department, the leftist who's bought and paid for by the teachers' unions. I don't even understand that appointment. But you don't hear me coming out urging you to oppose her. Let's see how that works out. Apparently, the deputy secretary appointee at the Education Department, according to our friends in Tennessee, conservatives, school choicers, say she's the worst of the worst. I don't know why that woman was picked. I don't have the foggiest idea. And we will be mindful. We will be resolute. We will be watching it all. But the enemy is the Democrat Party because they don't believe in the country. We're not talking about an appointment here, appointment there. We're talking about a chorus line of haters who will do anything for power. They're hungry for power, who will do anything. And they haven't slithered back under their rocks. They're not hiding. They're reorganizing. They're trying to figure out the best approach. It's not easy when you're facing Donald Trump. He's a genius at this. But they're there, and they're on the move, and it's just a matter of time. And they want to take the House in the worst way. You know why, Mr. Producer? What do you think they want to do? Impeach Donald Trump again.